the worst takes on the Supergirl trailer in our quest to try to find everybody's side of this Supergirl trailer thing. We're checking out this video today. The link for the original video is in the description. Also, don't forget this is a brand new superhero reaction channel. Subscribe to me, please. Let's see what he says.
What's going on, guys? We're back with another
God, don't
YouTube
do that.
video. So the Supergirl trailer finally came out a couple days ago.
It
You guys saw
week
my
or two
reaction. I really liked it. Do I think it was anything groundbreaking? No, not really. But at the end of the day, the casting is solid. The story, at least from what we saw in the teaser, obviously the movie will touch on certain things like her life on Krypton, how Krypton's destruction shaped her view of the world up to this point, and how she evolves from that mindset to become a better person, which I'm very much looking forward to. There's the girl she saves who will end up being a tag along for her journey, as well as Lobo.
So in the book, she's not a tag along. She is the whole purpose behind, and that is, man, that's fire. That's all I gotta say. What is on his neck?
Who looks absolutely perfect, casting and design wise. Other than that, there's not really much there to talk about because, again, it is just a teaser, but I do think it is a very solid teaser that gave us a good little glimpse into what.
I'll say it's a solid teaser for people who have read Woman of Tomorrow. I think the trailer, what might not have been the smartest teaser to do. The Superman was a very smart one to do. This one, it seems very catered to the people who've read the book, and the rest of the people, I can see from their perspective being like, what was that? You know?
The movie has to offer. Now, obviously, there are people who did not like the trailer, which, I mean, it's the internet. We kind of saw this coming, especially coming off of the James Gunn Superman movie stuff. Let me make it clear, there's nothing wrong with not liking the trailer. The movie's not going to be for everyone. The issue, though, really just comes down to the reasoning behind it.
Yes, man, I hope he points out all of the parroting. Have an original thought. Have a thought that came from your own brain. If you don't like it, that's fine. But if you're like, One Trick Pony, Guardians of the Galaxy 4, slop, garbage, you didn't get those words. Somebody else said those and you were like, I like that. I'm going to parrot it. That's exactly what happened.
And going online, there are quite a few bad takes going around. The most popular notion being that Supergirl is apparently too much of a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff.
That sounds exactly like what I just said a second ago, as if I've heard it a bajillion times.
Now, although there is a similar aesthetic here, I think calling it a ripoff is kind of a reach, especially when we get.
It's premature for sure. Like, if we're gonna give him as much leeway as possible, it's premature to call from a teaser trailer saying this movie will be garbage, it will be terrible, it won't make any money, it will flop, it will be Guardians of the Galaxy 4. From a teaser trailer, I'm not saying it's gonna be good. I hope it's gonna be good. I think it will be good based on the fact that it seems like it's going to follow the good book closely. That's where I'm coming from.
Into, again, the reasoning behind why people are saying stuff like this. So let's just go ahead and get into these and you guys will see what I mean.
Let's do it.
You guys want to know why Supergirl has a Star-Lord jacket to hide her iconic suit? It's because the CEO of DC Studios hates superhero costumes and thinks they're dumb.
What in the hell is this?
No. Believe it or not.
The rebuttal that to, though, when people go and they Google it and they figure out it's from the book, they go, well, but is the 80s music and the headphones from the book?
Not the idea of Kara wearing her brown jacket is not something that came from the Guardians movie. In one of the very comics that the movie is adapting and taking from, she is shown wearing a long brown jacket over her suit. In fact,
with other clothes like that, she looks like a pirate. I've said this before. She looks less like a Star-Lord and more like a pirate.
In fact, the comic actually opens.
But in that world she's in, I should clarify. The world she's in there, look at the guy. See how he looks like Conan? It is a very medieval style world. Like Ruthie in the book, when she sees her rocket ship, she's like, what am I looking at? Like, they don't have that stuff there. You know what I mean?
With her wearing the jacket. Not to mention, I have to say, I don't know what you mean when you say they are trying to hide her iconic suit, quote unquote. You clearly see it in full force near the end of the trailer. They're not trying to hide it at all. Not a great start with this one.
That is what you call an artistic choice. It shows you probably her becoming Wonder Woman as the not Wonder Woman. Guys, I saw a guy call her Wonder Woman in another video I reacted to, and now I'm doing it in a Supergirl story where she is she's becoming Supergirl in the beginning. She's like, you know, not renouncing it, but she's not as on board, and then it goes along, and that could be how it goes.
The only thing you could say that was quote unquote taken from Guardians, or you could say, is the Walkman, which I just see this as them doing a nod or a reference to a movie.
Could be.
That's not exactly the same as being a ripoff of something.
Yeah, wearing headphones that are orange. I mean, it's like, does that mean that she's gonna be exactly like Star-Lord? No, it's just probably like, hey, I like that. You know who else wore the headphones first? You know, Marty McFly was a big headphones. I mean, there's all kinds of characters that you could point to that had certain things. Other people have used them because they like them. It doesn't mean because they're like, oh, I'm gonna make another Back to the Future and put Star-Lord in some headphones. You know what I mean? That's not what that means.
Example: WandaVision casually visually references The Incredibles with a certain scene. Does that make the whole show now an automatic ripoff just
Yes, it does.
because they were paying homage to it? Like, this argument makes literally no sense. In the Supergirl trailer, we also have the brightly colored space bar with our protagonists taking shots. They're not even hiding it anymore.
Is this serious?
And he put
I hadn't even seen that one. It reminds me of those pictures you ever seen where it has Trump and Hitler both together, and they're both drinking a water, and it says, well, well, well.
It's a seed up of Supergirl and Drax drinking at a bar and trying to use
Well,
this logic to say that Supergirl copied Guardians. Once again, unfortunately, you are wrong for a couple of reasons. Firstly, this came from the comics once again. In Woman of Tomorrow, she does in fact go to an alien bar and she takes shots there. So once again, this is a symptom.
I don't know if she's taking shots in that alien bar. She takes shots in the medieval alien bar. But in that one, I think she's sobering up as she travels, and she can feel the yellow sun kind of coming and stuff.
Not bothering to look at the source
She may
material.
have.
Not to mention, Lobo himself hangs out at alien bars all the time. Like, that's a staple of his character, and it's probably how Supergirl and Lobo end up meeting. If we ignore this, right, why does her going to an alien bar in space all of a sudden make it a Guardians ripoff? Like, by this logic, the Guardians movies themselves copied Star Wars. Really, this just comes down to, again, there's a similar aesthetic. These are all sci-fi adventures.
I can't even remember the alien bars in Guardians. Why am I blanking on that? Is it in the first one? I've seen all three, but I don't know.
Adventure movies set in outer space. Of course, there are gonna be some similarities, even some nods from time to time, but that does not make it a direct copy of said thing.
Sure.
She's a drunk that called Superman a bitch, keeping my kids away from this content.
Well, now that might be wise. I don't think this is going to be kid friendly, guys. I really don't. I'm disappointed in that, especially because it's Supergirl. The fact that her name is Girl, because you know in the original comic she was a girl, she was not a woman. It's going to attract people who have young girls. They're going to take her to this, and it's not for kids, but people will take their kids. That's one thing about James Gunn I don't like. He does not know how to make family friendly content. As far as I know, he has no kids. And that, man, I wish that Superman was more family friendly. Superman cussed like 3 times in the movie, and then he's got him saying stuff like golly gosh and all this. I'm like, do you not get that people that don't cuss don't cuss? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, do you not get that? And then he ends up cussing, saying the H word, the S word, the P word, and my daughter's in the next room, so I'm gonna. But he's got all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it bothers me.
Yeah, because superheroes have totally never swear to movies. I mean, that's never happened before. I think your kids will be all right.
Yeah,
and
Supergirl's not Superman.
They had an opportunity.
I wish that Supergirl was Superman, but she's not. You know what I mean? She's just not like that.
To make Supergirl a wholesome movie with a lead that young girls can look up to. They can't do that because they cannot conceive of women in that way anymore. Men, women, good, bad. It's all just one giant amorphous blob.
I don't know about the second 2 sentences, but the first sentence I could completely agree with. I wish they had have made it something young girls could relate to more. Now, I think the idea is that people like, I keep saying James, it's not his movie. Other people, they are looking at the character growth story. They're not looking at who it applies to age-wise. So, I'll give them that. But I do think it could be a great opportunity to positively influence young girls.
Ow.
But not everybody's going to think of it that way, and whatever. I'm not in charge. It's fine.
Boy, if you don't...
What the are you saying? Why are you acting like they're turning her into an anti-hero? They're not doing that. They're just showing that she has flaws. Oh no, you mean DC wrote her to be flawed and act how a realistic, quirky girl would. In fact, I would think
she's
a
not
movie of her
Superman.
overcoming her flaws and becoming a better person as a result of this.
I've said it before. My Supergirl is more like the Kara Danvers, Melissa Benoist type, and that's not accurate to the comics. I get that. It's just my favorite. I just don't prefer her to be like this, but that's the way she is.
Would be a wholesome story, much less a girl traumatized by having to witness the destruction of her home planet as a teenager.
It's worse than that too, guys. It's worse than that. When she says in the trailer, you know, everybody dying or something like that, did they all die when Krypton blew up? She said the gods aren't that kind. It's worse than that.
She's got survivor's guilt, cultural isolation, and probably some PTSD from having to watch her parents and friends die. Like, it makes sense she would be in a mess like this. You guys do realize Kara is very different from Clark personality-wise. Like, obviously there are some similarities.
His personality was built by the homegrown Kents. Hers was not. Hers was built by the elite Kryptonian, family that she was a part of.
He's there, they're on the same side, obviously, and they want to do the right thing.
That's a great picture.
But Supergirl has kind of always had a more rebellious and slightly cynical side to her compared to Clark. Again, this is mainly because of the differences in which they grew up, which will likely be highlighted in this film, but there are times where her flaws come to the forefront. In fact, she actually became a Red Lantern at one point because of the various emotional issues
I've never read that
she had a hard time dealing with. It's really the, iterations like in.
I need to read all the Reborn stuff. I like Golden Age stuff, so I kind of, I bounce all over the place. There's like almost 90 years worth of this stuff, so it's really hard for me to keep up because I get bored when I keep up with the comics. I'm like, oh, I want to check out a different storyline now.
Justice 2 and CW, which is definitely not anything to go off of, that tend to characterize Kara as like just a female version of what Clark should be. But I'd say other media like My Adventures with Superman, Smallville at some points, and Superman Batman Apocalypse tackle her feelings of isolation and various other issues.
Yeah, Smallville Supergirl was, in my opinion, closest to the comics.
Deals with pretty well. CW offered us a better portrayal of Supergirl. Who agrees? The Supergirl 2026 trailer had bad music, disrespect of Superman, angsty drunk teen mentality, mid-fight battle scenes, milking the use of CGI animal.
Milking the use of CGI animal.
Oh, so you think the CW has a better portrayal of Supergirl than the movie? You know what? It is his opinion. If that's what he thinks, then sure. In fact, I'll actually do the guy a solid. We'll actually take a quick little look at the Supergirl show. I haven't watched it in a while, but maybe this guy's right. Maybe he's cooking. Maybe the show is better than the movie visually and writing-wise. Let's see.
When the ones you love turn their back on you, that's...
I hate that meme.
Now. What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
I gotta be honest, I'm getting lost right now.
Yeah.
Dark.
I hate that meme. I hate it.
So, unfortunately, after taking a quick look at this, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with bro on this one. I think the show...
I've forgotten what was said.
actually does a disservice to Supergirl based on what we've seen here. It looks like the CW show is actually the one with the bad CGI, the bad music, and the bad fight scenes. Of course, it is...
Yeah, well, the fight scenes were bad because of the technology. I mean, they're hanging them from wires and, not using a ton of CGI. And then when they do, it doesn't look great. It's TV budget. I mean, I give all forgiveness to that stuff because, you're moving quick. You're filming stuff every week. It's very difficult on a TV budget. So it is what it is.
It's your opinion. So if you like the show more, then cool. But saying the show is of better quality than the movie, I mean, there just doesn't seem to be substantial evidence that supports that claim. So we'll just have to go ahead and move on to the next one. Now, apparently there are also some people who felt a certain type of way about the poster of the film. One of them being heel versus babyface, truth, justice, whatever. So sick of this nihilistic, apathetic age of anything but superheroes.
Okay. With the new Superman, they acted like he was too goofy. They acted like the squirrel scene was overkill where he saved the life. It's like they did that to contrast because he cares about life so much, wants to be good as much as possible, and sees the good in everybody. And she's sick of living under that shadow. That's really what it's about. It's not that she's not that way. She's living under that shadow, and the life that she had and was, it's gone.
Again, how is this nihilistic? All this is a symbolism of her rebellion.
I don't even know what nihilistic means. When people use those kind of words talking to me, I'm like, okay, I'm gone. I want to talk about Superman.
His nature compared to Clark. This literally has no nihilism in it at all. It's just taking a twist on a commonly known phrase to represent a different character. It's supposed to say the American way there. Why exactly? Didn't we have this talk with Captain America and how these various superheroes like this were updated to not just be fighting for the American way? But
I'm okay with characters like Superman and Captain America specifically being American based because, you know, Superman was America based. He believed in the freedom that America offers. A lot of countries don't offer that freedom. And that's fine with me. The problem is there are negative things about America too. And people are like, well, that's what he's representing. It's like, yeah, that's what he's representing. Yeah, that's it. I think he's trying to change as he represents, not just take on whatever negative things go along with it. You know what I mean?
the values that America should strive to live up to. It's one of the reasons that Superman's motto was changed a long while ago from the American way to a better tomorrow. These are illegal aliens from outer space.
It doesn't have a good ring to it to me. Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. It just doesn't have it. Come up with something better.
Who are champions of the entire world, not just America. So limiting their scope of morality to the American way is honestly a slap in the face to what these characters stand for, and I'm glad they changed it. Especially if we look at the current state of America today, we're definitely not at a place where good values and leadership align and, you know, making the right decisions. So there's that. First time in history, I'd actually prefer the
Well, 50% of people are always going to say that any time during America because we're a democratic republic. The people get to elect the officials, so half of them aren't going to be happy with it. It's like my mom always said about sports. She hated playing in sports because she said, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to make half the people happy with what you do and half of them angry at you because half of them want you to do good and half of them want you to fail. So it doesn't matter what you do, half the people are going to be mad at you. And that's kind of how it is.
DEI edgelord multiverse version over the real thing. At least Sasha Call can act and made me care about the character. Oh my lord, do y'all even—
Is it call or cal or kaye? I don't
know what DEI means at this point. Like, you don't really sound like you care about the character at all if you're just throwing phrases like that around at any female character. Now, I
think the majority of people that have a lot of hate really don't care about Supergirl that much. I think that they care about downing James Gunn. Because there are people that don't like it that much, but they're not downing James Gunn when they do it.
Do you like Sasha Call's version of the character? In fact, she was probably one of the only good things about the train wreck that is the Flash movie. But Millie's version just seems way more physically accurate to the character just off what we've seen. So again, it just doesn't make sense to make a definitive statement like that, saying Sasha's version is, better. She was cool, but she wasn't really that explored to a full degree like what we're gonna get here, so it's just nonsensical to say that her version is definitively better, especially since we haven't seen the full movie. What's Superman like? He sees the good in people, I see the truth.
Now, even haters have liked that line, so I want to see what this says.
This is more of the same crap, and I'm sick of it. The female superhero can't stand on her own unless she's putting down the male.
What?
Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
And having the dog pee on Superman? Fuck off with that.
I didn't get that at all from that. The pee part I still don't like, but I didn't get that at all, that it had anything to do with being male or female. That didn't strike me that way at all. Did it get you that way, guys?
This has to be rage bait. Like, there's no way. There's no way this is serious. Like, she wasn't even putting him down. She was just saying that she has a different point of view than he does.
Yes.
Like, what?
Agreed.
What the f? The dog is peeing on Superman? No, the dog is peeing on the newspaper. Dogs pee on newspapers. Like, what?
I did point that out. He is peeing on Superman. They specifically put that up. He is doing that. But one thing that I've said is that when you break a dog with newspapers, if you're into something that's popular and big, like a politician, for example, they're going to be on the cover. You know what I mean? Like that, you're going to use that anyways. Maybe you'll turn it down over, use that page, but she obviously was out of it and wasn't going to be going getting her paper perfect just for him to pee on it. So, and she was on there too. I didn't like that part. I'm not justifying it. I wouldn't have done that, but it's not. It's not a movie running thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean the movie's going to suck.
Yeah, I think we're done here. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, and don't forget the original video for the link in this is in the description. Also in the description is a link to my Amazon store where you can get all sorts of Superman stuff in one place just for you. And don't forget, guys, if you want to see more takes on what's happening in the Supergirl world right now or other superhero related things, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and check out another video.